I still remember the night I realized everything was a lie. My hands were shaking. My heart felt like it stopped beating. I stared at my phone screen, reading and rereading the message I had just received from the bank. Your account balance is now 3.74 euros. Everything I owned, the savings I worked for, the money I kept safe for my daughter, all of it was gone. And the man I thought I loved, the man who called me my angel, my future, my forever, just vanished. No phone call, no explanation, no goodbye, only silence. And the horrifying truth sinking in my chest like a stone. My name is Lily, and I am 38 years old. I live in a quiet little town, in a brick house with a small garden where lavender grows in the summer. I have a daughter, Emma, who is 11. She is the only reason I wake up every morning and keep going, even when life feels unbearably heavy. But before all of this, before him, life was simple. Not joyful, not perfect, but steady. I worked at a bakery. I woke up before sunrise every day. I kneaded dough with tired hands. I served warm bread to familiar faces. I watched people come and go while my own heart stayed still, untouched for years. I had been divorced for almost 5 years. My ex-husband, Mark, left me for someone younger, more exciting, as he had said. I didn't argue, I didn't fight. I simply broke quietly, from the inside. After that, I shut the door to love. I told myself love was not meant for people like me, people who give too much and are remembered too little. But loneliness has a way of whispering when the nights get cold. And that's when he came into my life. His name was Andrew, or at least, that's what he said. We met online, on a simple social app. He was charming in a quiet, gentle way. Not pushy, not aggressive, just attentive. And when someone really listens to you, after years of silence, your heart forgets caution. He told me he was a civil engineer working overseas. He said he traveled from country to country for construction projects. He sent pictures, handsome ones. A man with soft eyes, a slight beard, and a warm smile. We talked every night, almost like a ritual. Emma would sleep, the house would fall quiet, and I would sit with a cup of tea and wait for his message. "Good evening, my Lily. I missed you today." And my heart, oh, how foolishly it bloomed. For the first time in so long, I felt noticed, seen, wanted. But slowly, small cracks began to show. He would avoid video calls. He always had an excuse. No good network here. I'm at a site. I'm exhausted. His voice messages sounded real enough, but there was something distant in them. One day, he told me he wanted to come home to see me. He said he wanted a future with me, to meet Emma, to build a life together. I cried that night, tears of joy and fear. But then came the first request. There is a problem. My project manager is delaying my payment. I am stuck at the border without the fee to clear my travel documents. I just need a little support, just for now. I remember my hands freezing above the keyboard. I wanted to say no, but the thought of losing him, of going back to that empty silence, it terrified me. So I transferred 200 euros. He thanked me so sweetly, so lovingly, so gently, that I felt proud. Like I had done something meaningful. Then he asked again and again and again, every time the reason sounded urgent. Every time his tone was desperate. Every time my heart won over my mind. Until one morning, I logged into my bank account and realized what I had done. Thousands. Gone. Money for Emma's school, money for rent, money my mother left me. All vanished. I felt sick. I felt stupid. I felt used. I confronted him, but that day, he didn't reply. Not a word. Not a breath. Days passed. I barely ate. I barely slept. I barely moved. Emma would stand in the doorway, watching me with worried eyes. "Mom, are you okay?" I would force a smile that felt like breaking glass. "Yes, sweetheart, I'm fine." But I was not fine. I was drowning in shame. Then, one evening, about 2 weeks later, I received a message from an unknown number. "Do you know the man calling himself Andrew? We need to talk." My heart stopped. My body went cold. I opened the message. What I saw made every bone in my body tremble. A real woman's voice, not a scammer, not fake. A woman who sounded heartbroken, just like me. She said, "You're not the only one. He took money from me too, and from others, we have proof. And now, we know where he is." I stared at the phone, my breath shaking in my chest. Andrew was real, and I was not his only victim. But what she said next? changed everything. We are going after him. My grief turned into something else, something sharper, something stronger, something I never expected to feel again. Resolve. My eyes lifted, my spine straightened. My heart whispered, he took from the wrong woman. We are going after him. I sat there on my living room couch, staring at the dim lamplight flickering on the wall, my hands cold, my breath uneven. I had spent weeks sinking in grief, shame, and loneliness. But now there was a small flame inside me. Not anger yet, not revenge yet, just a fierce need for truth. I wrote back, "Who are you?" The reply came almost instantly. "My name is Sarah. I live in Berlin. He took money from me too." I loved him, just like you. My chest tightened. I leaned back, my head resting against the couch, eyes closing for a moment. So I wasn't alone. The pain I carried wasn't mine only. There were others, women with hearts that once trusted, just like mine. Sarah asked if we could video call. This time I didn't hesitate. My fingers trembled as I pressed the accept button. A woman appeared on my screen, maybe early 40s, tired eyes, messy hair pulled back loosely. The kind of face that had cried recently. The kind of face that had hoped recently too. She exhaled softly. "You must be Lily." "Yes," I whispered. For a moment we didn't speak. We just looked at each other, two strangers connected by the same wound. Then she said, "There are others. 4 of us so far. Maybe more." I swallowed hard. 4. Women just like me. "How much did he take from you?" I asked quietly. She looked down. "Almost 10,000 euros. I closed my eyes, feeling my heart twist painfully. This wasn't love. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a pattern, a hunt, a trap. I felt something shift inside me. A cold, steady clarity. "We have his real name," Sarah continued, "and we know where he currently is." I opened my eyes, breath stopping. "What's his real name?" She hesitated, then spoke. "His name is James Carter." James, not Andrew. The name I whispered into my pillow at night wasn't real. The man I imagined holding had never existed. He was just James, a scammer, a thief, a destroyer of lonely hearts. My throat burned, my chest tightened, but I didn't cry. "Not this time." Sarah leaned closer. "We can report him together, but we need to be organized. Strong, we need your help too." My voice came out small. "What can I do?" "Tell your story. Share screenshots, proof of transfers. Messages, everything." I nodded slowly. I could do that. I would do that. For Emma, for myself. For all the women who still might be falling for his voice. Sarah exhaled with relief. A tired, broken, hopeful sound. "Thank you, Lily. None of us deserve what he did." "No," I whispered. "We don't." That night I couldn't sleep. I sat by Emma's bedside, watching her small chest rise and fall peacefully. Her lashes soft against her cheeks. The innocence on her face untouched by betrayal and heartbreak. She didn't know her mother had been shattered. She didn't know I had failed to protect our future. I brushed a strand of hair from her forehead. And I realized something. This wasn't just about money. This was about dignity, self-worth, identity, respect. I would not let this story end with me broken. I would rise for her. The next day, I gathered everything. The messages he sent, the voice notes, the photos, the receipts of transfers. Each click felt like pulling out a thorn, painful but necessary. Sarah added me to a group chat. There were 4 other women. Alice, from London. Grace, from Dublin. Helena, from Lisbon. Me. 4 lives, 4 countries. 1 scammer, 1 heartbreak. We shared our stories. Every one of us had believed we were special. His only love. His future wife. He had copied the same words, the same dreams, the same tone of voice, as if reading from a script. I felt sick, but also stronger. We weren't broken. We were awake now. And awakened hearts can either collapse. His voice, the voice I had once fallen asleep to, held against my heart, believed in like a whispered prayer. Now it echoed through my living room like a ghost. "Lily, please let me explain." I stood frozen, the phone trembling slightly in my hand. My first instinct was to delete the message, erase it like he had erased me. But I couldn't. My heart, though bruised and wiser now, still remembered the softness of him. The imagined version of him. The man who never actually existed. I took a breath that felt heavy, slow. Then I pressed play again. His voice was shaky, desperate, lower than before. "I know you're angry. I know I made mistakes. I never meant to hurt you. I had no choice. They forced me. I swear I wanted to come to you. I was going to make everything right. I closed my eyes. His words. They were familiar, clever, painful. The kind that touches your wounds gently. The kind that tries to reopen the door you had just closed. Not love, manipulation. I felt it now, clearly, like smoke lifting. Still, memories flickered. Nights when his voice felt like companionship. Days when his messages gave me something to look forward to. A future I believed in. The betrayal of love isn't the ending of trust. It's the ending of self. And now, I had to decide whether to answer. My fingers moved slowly, like they belonged to someone else. I typed, "What do you want?" I pressed send. My heartbeat pounded like a pulse in my throat. His reply came instantly. Just one call. "Please, Lily, I just need you to hear me." Something inside me tightened. I pictured Sarah, Alice, Grace, Helena. Their voices, their stories, their heartbreak lined up alongside mine. This wasn't just my pain anymore. I wrote back, 10 minutes, that's it. He responded with a location pin. A cafe in my city. My breath stopped. He was near. Not miles away. Not across oceans. Here. All this time, he wasn't in foreign countries. He wasn't traveling for work. He wasn't trapped by paperwork. He was probably sipping coffee in comfortable cafes, scamming woman after woman online. My stomach twisted, but I didn't panic. I felt something else. Resolve, I messaged Sarah. "He wants to meet, in person tomorrow." The group exploded. "No, Lily. He's dangerous. He will trick you again. You don't need to see him." But then, one message from Helena. "No, let her go. She needs to see the truth with her own eyes. That's how we heal." I sat still for a long moment. Then I typed, "I'll be careful. I promise." That night I barely slept. Not from fear, but from rehearsing what I would say, how I would look, how I would breathe. I would not cry. I would not tremble. I would not beg. I would not be Lily who loved him. I would be Lily who survived him. Morning came quiet and pale. Emma was still asleep when I left the house. I walked, not fast, not slow, just steady. The cafe had glass windows where sunlight spilled through. I saw him before he saw me. James, not Andrew. No soft eyes, no warmth, no gentle smile. Just a man. Average, small even. A man wearing a nice jacket bought with stolen love. My stolen love. He looked up and our eyes met. His smile flickered, soft, faithful, familiar. But now I saw the cracks. I walked in, sat down across from him. No greeting, just silence. He leaned forward slightly. "Lily, you look beautiful." His voice was warm, practiced. Smooth, I didn't respond. He sighed dramatically. Everything just got out of control. I never meant to use you. I cared for you truly. I still do. You were different, I listened. Not because I believed him, but because I needed to hear the lies one last time. For months, I've been trying to fix everything. I'm close to getting the money back. I will return it, all of it. I promise. I tilted my head slightly, watching him carefully. His hands were steady, his eyes were convincing. His voice held the perfect amount of regret. He was good, very good. "Where's my money then?" I asked softly. He blinked. A hesitation no trained liar could hide. "It's coming soon. I cut him off. "More money, right?" His jaw tightened. I saw it now. The real him. Not charming, not gentle, but calculating. "Lily," he said. His voice now lower, more controlled. "If you report me, you will never get your money back. But if you keep this quiet, I will make everything right. Give me some time, please." I leaned back. For the first time in months, I felt something steady inside me. "Strength. You didn't come here to apologize," I said quietly. "You came to protect your little game." His eyes sharpened. He opened his mouth to speak, but I wasn't done. "I'm not alone anymore," I whispered. His expression changed, just slightly, but enough. A flicker of fear. There it was, the truth. I stood up. He reached out, trying to touch my hand. "Lily, wait." I stepped back. "No," I said softly. I did wait, too long. I turned and walked out of the cafe. I didn't look back, not once. When I stepped outside, the sun felt different. Warmer, lighter, real. I pulled out my phone and sent one message to the group. "He is exactly who we thought he was." "It's time," Sarah replied within seconds. "Are you ready?" I took a slow breath. Yes, we scheduled the official fraud case filing for Monday. 10 women had joined by then. 10 hearts, 10 voices. 10 truths, we had his identity. We had proof, we had each other. But there was something none of us knew. Something that changed everything. 2 days before the report, I received a call. Not from Sarah, not from the investigator. From a woman I didn't know. Her voice was quiet, soft, shaking. "Are you Lily?" "Yes. Who is this?" Silence. Then she whispered, I'm his wife." My breath shattered. Wife. He was married, all along. My heart didn't break this time. It turned to stone. She swallowed hard. "I need to meet you. Please, it's urgent. I didn't know about any of you." I closed my eyes. The story was not over. Not even close. I sat in my car for a long moment before stepping out. The address the woman gave me was a small house with white siding and blue shutters. Quiet, peaceful. The kind of place where love was supposed to live. Not betrayal. My heart didn't race this time. The pain had already happened. Now there was only truth left to face. I walked up the steps and knocked. The door opened gently. She was standing there. Her name was Charlotte. Her face was pale and tired, dark circles heavy under her eyes. Not from makeup or long nights, but from heartbreak. She looked like someone who had been holding the world together with shaking hands. For a moment, we simply stared at each other. Two women, same wound, different lives. Finally, she stepped aside and whispered, "Come in." The living room was small and quiet. A child's picture book sat open on the coffee table. A tiny blue blanket folded on a chair. I froze. She saw where my eyes landed. "Yes," she said softly. "We have a daughter, a daughter." My knees felt weak. She motioned for me to sit, her voice gentle but trembling. "He told me you were a friend." She paused, clutching her hands together. Just someone he was helping, someone going through a hard time. I closed my eyes. The lies had been deep, wide-layered. Then she said something that broke the room in half. He told me I was the reason he was distant, that I was the problem, that I didn't understand him, and I believed him, for years. Her voice cracked to the smallest, softest sound. I felt tears fill my own eyes. She looked at me very carefully now, not with anger, not with competition, just truth. "You loved the man he pretended to be," she whispered. "And I lived with the man he actually was." Silence, heavy, painful but honest. I nodded slowly. "And he took everything," I said, my voice barely there. "Money. Hope, trust. My sense of myself." She nodded too. "He took my peace, my marriage. The father my daughter deserved." Her eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. She was past crying. She reached to the side table and handed me a folder. Inside were medical bills, debt notices, bank statements. He had drained her too, not just emotionally, but financially. He wasn't just a scammer of strangers. He was a thief inside his own home. He told me he was working, traveling, and providing for us. Her voice trembled. He was gambling, using other women's money, destroying us piece by piece. My chest ached. All this time, he had been building worlds of lies on everyone's shoulders. Then she looked up at me. "There are more women, Lily. More than your group, more than we know." My breath stopped, but Charlotte's voice didn't shake now. "He thinks we're all separate, scattered, silent." Her eyes finally met mine. "Stronger than I expected, but he's wrong." I felt something spark inside me, not anger, not grief, purpose. She leaned forward and whispered, "We don't just expose him. We end him." And I knew. This was no longer a story about heartbreak. It was a story about survival. Together we called Sarah, then Alice, then Grace. One by one, all the voices he tried to isolate began to gather into one. A choir of women who had been quiet too long. We documented everything: transcripts, bank transfers, recorded calls, screenshots, chat logs. Even his lies became evidence. By Monday morning, we walked into the police station together. 10 women, 1 wife, 1 voice. The officer listened, took notes, accepted every piece of proof we brought. There was no doubt, no hesitation. By afternoon, an arrest warrant was issued. That evening, Charlotte called me. Her voice was small again. "They arrested him," she whispered. I didn't cheer, I didn't smile. I just breathed, slow, deep, free. She continued, "I don't know what my life will look like from here." I understood. Healing isn't loud. Healing is quiet. It is choosing yourself one day at a time. I said softly, "You don't have to know yet. You just have to begin." She exhaled, a long, shaking breath. "Thank you, Lily." I closed my eyes. "No, thank you for standing with us, for telling the truth, for not staying silent." Because silence is where manipulation lives. And we were done living there. Weeks passed. The world didn't suddenly turn bright and perfect. Healing didn't come like sunlight. It came in pieces. Small things, making my morning tea slowly, letting myself sleep without guilt, laughing again, not checking my phone for messages that never existed. I learned to forgive the part of myself that wanted to be loved so deeply, that I believed in an illusion. That part of me wasn't weak. She was human, and love is not foolish. Trust is not foolish, but exploiting trust, that is evil. Now I teach my daughter to love carefully, not fearfully, just honestly. And I teach myself the same. One evening, I sat by the window with warm tea in my hands. The sky was orange and soft. Emma was drawing beside me, quiet, safe, peaceful. She looked up and said, "Mom, you look happy." A tear slipped down my cheek. Not from sadness, but from knowing I had returned to myself. I smiled and answered, "I am." Because after losing everything, I found something bigger. My strength, my truth, my voice. And it will never be taken again.